Hi, I'm Paul Santinello. Welcome to The Upside. This is the show where we talk about all the good things that are going on in our community. Today, we're going to have a fun show. I have Andrew Romeo, who is the owner of Romeo Athletics. It's a pain and torture organization. It's a CrossFit gym, which is the same thing. Welcome,
very similar.
Rome.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
Good. I'm doing great. Thanks,
Good.
Paul.
Of course you are. He gets to torture people for a living. It's a fun thing. Yeah,
absolutely. We get to try to make people a little bit healthier every day, but it's all hard work, right?
Yep. So we're going to talk about CrossFit a little bit, but we're going to talk about mainly today is something called Misfit Toys.
Sure.
What is it?
So Misfit Toys, it's a charity event. This is coming into our 9th annual event. So we've run this for 9 years. Every year we host this competition. Typically we bring in about 100 teams of 2, so about 200 athletes come down to my facility. And they do some workouts and compete against each other and see who's the fittest in the workouts that we're laying out.
Yep.
But the real purpose of it is multifolded. It's a toy drive. So every athlete is required to bring a new unwrapped toy.
Yep.
Those are going to be donated to a food shelter. It's called the Giving Back Food Pantry in New Britain.
Okay.
We bring those down there the day before Christmas, so people that are coming in for food all of a sudden get themselves a gift that they can give to their children.
Yep.
And we also do a monetary donation. This year the monetary donation will be going to Operation Warrior Horse. Operation Warrior Horse is a facility, an equine facility, that works with veterans for PTSD. So if you come in and you're a veteran and you need some help, that's what they're there for. You get to work with some animals. And
I've heard a story, I watched it on TV about that. Where is this place?
I believe it's in Connecticut.
Yeah.
I'm not certain on their location. So the Misfit Toys is run by my facility, and I've also partnered with another gym, Yankee CrossFit.
Yep.
And we alternate years of who picks the charity. So this is their year. They picked a great charity. And every year we do the toy drive. So This is a universal toy drive every year. But then we go for the monetary donation. We flip-flop years. Last year was my year. This year's their year, and they picked this charity. And I think it's an awesome charity, and I'm 100% behind it.
I've seen a story on it on TV. It's absolutely phenomenal what these veterans are saying about what the project does for them.
Yeah.
About how it just relieves their stress. They're working with animals that are a little stressed out as well.
And you can't be like super tight wound around a horse. It's like, hey, you got to relax.
Yeah.
If you don't relax, this horse, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, you're going to just kick to the head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So when is the competition?
So the competition will be December 14th. It's going to be in Enfield, Connecticut. It's right down the road from here. If people are looking to participate in the event, you could go to conquestevents.net and you can just look up Misfit Toys and you could find a registration online. They can also register as a volunteer online there. If that is a little bit beyond what they're comfortable doing, they're like, hey, I don't want to go online and look up your thing and make a donation, you can always come down to the day of the event. We always will take whatever toys you're bringing down, and we'll also take whatever volunteers, because there's a lot of moving parts. When you have a couple hundred athletes, and then you also have maybe a couple hundred spectators in one facility, and we're running multiple workouts all day long, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yep.
And it's really helpful to have help. But it's a great event.
So the competition is at Romeo Athletics, which is in Connecticut, in Enfield, on Moody Road.
Yes.
So it's not far from here. So there's two things. Last year I went to go watch this.
Sure.
And it's kind of insane of what's going on around you as you're watching this.
Yes.
And because there's all different levels of competition. I saw some people, not my age, but a little bit older than what I would think with it. Yeah, I know, I'm old, so there's no. But I saw what was amazing, and it was men and women.
Yes.
So female teams and male teams, not a co-ed team, right?
Yep. So yeah, exactly. So the breakdown for teams, it's same-sex teams. You could be a scaled team, and what we do is with the registration, we lay out parameters or being like, hey, if you can do X, Y, and Z, you should be in the RX division. If you can do X, Y, and Z, you should be in the scaled division. Or we have a master's division that starts at 40 plus. And it all depends on skill levels, but our goal of it is to be inclusive as possible. We want everyone to come out and participate. And if it's participating in the event itself or if it's volunteering, we just want people to come in.
Yeah, and it was the parts I saw were people jumping on boxes and dumbbell lifts and all this stuff. And then I saw, which was amazing, there was one guy that looked like a flea hopping on top of the box, hopping off. It was just, it looked like he had no weight on him whatsoever. And then what was super impressive to me was watching these young girls pick up these barbells and, doing a thruster above their head. And
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this, and I'm knowing that I can't do the weight that they were doing.
You're watching it. Oh my God.
Yeah, and they're petite little things and just popping the weights up. And the neat thing about the competition from an outsider who never saw this going on before was the not party atmosphere, but the festive atmosphere that was going on during the competition.
100%.
People were outside milling about. You guys had a food truck down there and all that stuff. It was pretty neat. And so the message today is there's two things to this, is that before we start talking about CrossFit a little bit and what you do with folks, is the toy drive. We had Toys for Tots on here earlier. This is Misfit Toys. So there's two components of it. There's a monetary side of it and the toy drive itself. And it's December 14th, and it's an all-day kind of
we'll
thing.
be there all day.
Yeah.
I'll be there super early in the morning. It'll probably wrap up around 5 or 6 at night.
So I would, if they're the athlete in you wants to try this out, go down. I've never been in a facility where everybody's cheering you on for something. And so you'll feel like family when you go down there. So if you want to compete, you can go to Romeo Athletics and look them up online. You get the website and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Or you can just go down and enjoy the day, donate a toy, or just hang around and see what it's really like. If you've never done CrossFit, go Google it and watch some YouTube videos, and then go down and check it out. But the toy drive, I know, is a cool thing to do.
Yes, absolutely.
That's number one, and you're going to have a bunch of toys to bring down, which is the important part.
Yeah, I mean, we literally bring down thousands of toys.
So,
I mean, if you had to put a monetary number, or you had to put a number to the amount of toys, I would say, $10,000 worth of toys, because you're thinking...
in one day.
A couple hundred people bringing, and no one typically brings in one toy. People are bringing in a bag of toys and stuff like that. So you're really, that's a huge part of it.
Yep. I think it's awesome. So CrossFit, and we'll talk about Misfit again before we wrap up.
Of course.
So CrossFit, one day I was watching this online, or on TV. It was the CrossFit World Games or Championships, whatever they were. And you're watching these guys, and they had the female division as well, the finals, and you're watching them move things and pull things. And what is CrossFit?
Sure. There's a big name out there where they're like, it's functional movements done at a high intensity. But what we really do, it's a coaching facility. And the idea is people come in and you're going to be working with a coach. And we're working in motions or movement patterns that are going to translate to your everyday life. So we want to make you more proficient at sitting up and laying down on the ground and putting something over your head. And we do it in a group fitness setting. So you have a coach with a group of athletes, and it's not what you think about like the old school group fitness where you have an instructor in front of you that's leading the way and you're following along. We try to teach you. So now, hey, you're proficient in these movements, and we're going to go around and make sure that you're moving in a safe movement pattern with weights that are appropriate for you. Everybody comes in different ages, different limitations. And our goal is, hey, no matter what you got going on, we can make this work for you. And we want to make this fun. And as you said, we want you to feel like you're part of our family because that's what pulls you back in and brings you back in every day. So we say it's a threefold attempt. We work on nutrition, we work on exercise, and we work on accountability. The family atmosphere is really the accountability part, because you know that there's people that are waiting there for you, that people want to see you. They're like, hey, where have you been? What are you doing? What's going on? So we really work on health and wellness and trying to elevate people. What people see on TV, so what you were referring to, the CrossFit Games, that's like the 0.1 upper echelon of people that they do this for a living, and then all they do is exercise for 6 to 7 to 8 hours a day, and they look like they're built out of stone. That is not what you typically would see in our gym. Maybe you'll see like 1 or 2 people like that, but that's not typically. As I said, I think the oldest person I've trained is 85 years old, and he was great, and he did an awesome job. He would come in every day. It was one-on-one work, so it wasn't necessarily in the group setting, but he did amazing. And then we have everything down to CrossFit Kids. And anything below 12, 13, they're not going to get stronger from lifting weights. All they're doing is learning movement patterns and playing and having fun. But to your point before, like when you came to the Misfit Toys last year and you saw these women lifting barbells up over your head, I want to see little girls and little boys watching their parents work out and see them enjoying it and see them being like, this is really cool. Like it's not a chore to go to the gym. I'm not going to the gym because I want to lose weight or I want to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to the gym because it's part of who I am, and it's something I enjoy doing. It's something that I want to do. And again, that plugs back into that family approach. I encourage people to bring their kids in. Sure, bring them in and have them watch you. When class is done and they want to run around for a second, have them run around for a second and lift up a barbell, or, because we have kids' barbells, and they're not really barbells, they're PVC pipes. They don't weigh anything. It's just so they can play along with mom or dad.
Yeah. So when you, in the so CrossFit is, and I try to explain this, I went there. So I started doing it, and I had to check my manhood at the door.
Sure.
Because I was doing movements for the very first time.
Yep.
Never done them before, certain exercises. And the instructor, who I told, I've never done this before, you got to show me how to do it, said, okay, we're going to go slow today and work on form.
Yep, 100%.
As opposed to, so as I'm watching these young girls, my daughter's ages, putting up deadlifting, probably 2 1/4.
Sure.
And I've got 65 pounds or 75 pounds on the bar. And just making sure that the coach was there, just making sure my form was there, and then helping others, but coming back to making sure. It's just amazing. And then everybody's fist bumping you about a great workout. And I'm looking and say, no, I didn't do anything today.
I didn't do nearly as much as you guys did, but you did what you could do.
Right, and I get, so I've learned that part of it, because when you try to get the testosterone going is when you start to hurt yourself a little bit.
Sure, I mean, an analogy I use a lot is a barbell has never jumped off the floor and hurt anybody. You know what I mean? Typically, ego is what hurts people, because you see someone do it and you're like, I could do that. I could, and you're like, you could, but should you?
So what's the biggest, because one of the, talking to people about certain things, people sign up for gyms all the time.
Sure.
And I've gone to one on a regular basis before. I still go to it with the CrossFit, because I have certain things I do there and whatever. But what's the perception of why people don't come in and do something like that?
I think it's an intimidation barrier too. Some can be cost prohibitive, but if you think being fit is expensive, just wait till you're sick and then you'll see what really is expensive. Yep. So cost is a prohibitive thing, but also it's an intimidation barrier where people see barbells being lifted, or they're like, I don't know any of those movements. What am I going to do? And that's where, when everyone comes down, same thing that you and I did, is we sit down and we talk and we have a conversation of what are your goals, where we want to go, and my only goal is to drive your goals. Hey, you want to get ready for a race, or hey, someone wants to be able to get on the floor and play with their grandkids. Cool. Let me teach you how to, let's work on things that are going to help you be able to do that, and sustainable stuff. And it's also one of the things where they see barbells on TV and they're like, I could never do that. Yep. Well, you know what? You don't have to. But we can come up with movement patterns that you could do that are going to be just as beneficial for you. And to your point about your day one in, you're lifting 65 pounds, the goal is if you're successful that day, the next day we can add on, or next week we can add on more weight and more weight and more weight. If we blow you up that first day and we don't watch you and we're like, yeah, Paul, go lift up that weight. Don't worry about it. And then you're like, my back really hurts. Well, you're probably not coming back.
Right. And there's enough, and I want to encourage people, if you have explored it and you haven't, you said the same, I can't do that, those words. Go there and try it out for at least one session.
Yeah, come have a conversation.
Because my very first workout with you included 0 weights.
Yep.
And I was sore as heck for about a week.
Yeah, sitting down, standing up to a bench, doing some ring rows, doing some push-ups. But as you said, it's effective.
Yeah. And there's little torture things called burpees that you like to incorporate. But it's funny. I've dealt with probably 4 or 5 of the different trainers down there, and I've never been associated with something where, and not only because I've done you go to the gym, you do weightlifting and all that stuff, but I've never been associated with something where people are just so happy. Yeah. The coaching staff.
That's good.
They're always. One thing I can say is that I've never felt. And listen, I'm getting late in the game going to a place like this.
Cool.
So just having someone not talk down to you. Mm-hmm. So again, people who are worried about, I can't do that. I haven't had one coach say, "Oh my God, you're old and you're fat." Even though I'm old and fat, I get that. So
you're too hard on yourself, Paul.
But you don't see that there, and. It's just, and I'm sure other CrossFit gyms are similar like that, where it's very positive, and it's a very positive environment. And that's what I really want to get across, that if you haven't tried it and you're thinking about, hey, I'm out of shape, or I want to try to do something, and I know going to a regular gym, because I go to another gym and you can go there and see all the muscle heads. My son's one of them. Yeah. And you can see all those muscle heads and you say, God, I don't even want to be in the room with them, because you're trying to put a barbell up and they're putting up racks of weight. So try it. You give it a shot. It's one of the neatest things where there's the simplest of exercises that go back to rudimentary gym training in grammar school.
Stuff from the 40s and the 50s and the 60s.
Jack LaLanne stuff.
Exactly. Stuff. And it's funny, I actually heard a podcast and they were mentioning Jack LaLanne's nutrition advice and how it still holds true today, where he's like, you should be eating your meat and your vegetables and having a well-rounded diet. And you're like, that's actually great advice.
Yeah.
And it holds true for the test of time, and same with his exercises.
Yeah, and that's kind of CrossFit reminds me of the Jack LaLanne thing, where it's about the movement and just he didn't have a single weight on his set.
Sure.
When he did all those things. So, what got you into this?
Sure. I was an athlete my whole life. I grew up in Lenox, Massachusetts, so not too far away from here.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the best student, but what got me to go to school and got me to get good grades was the ability to play sports. Yeah. So that's what kind of really drove me, and that drove me in college. I played college sports at Springfield College. Getting out of college, I wasn't sure what direction to go to, and I ended up getting a job in corporate fitness. So I was working for a company called Misfit and at Mass Mutual. And the beauty of that was it allowed me to work with a lot of clients, get a lot of exposure. And doing that, similar to a lot of people, I was teaching a kettlebell class, and I wanted to bring some more variety into my kettlebell class. So I was searching online, and I found CrossFit. And I was like, well, before I introduce it to a class and before I introduce it to some clients, let me do it myself.
Yeah.
And the same as a lot of people, where I had to check my ego. Where you're like, I'm super fit, I'm really strong, this will be no problem. And all of a sudden you're laying on the floor, and you're like, okay, that was different. And right from then, I was like, I need to look further into this. And I read every article, watched every video, went to every certification, and just kind of tried to accumulate as much knowledge as I could about this. And this was like 2007, 2008. 2009, I purchased a home that had a one-car garage, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to open a gym out of my garage.
Really?
And that's where we started. We started in a one-car garage in Enfield, Connecticut, and I was still working my full-time job, and I was teaching classes out of my house in the morning and the evening. And on the way to work one day, I drove by where we're currently at, and there was a sign, like a facility for rent, and I was like, well, I'll swing by, see what it looks like. Swung by, and I have an amazing landlord. His name is Dennis, and I couldn't have asked for ever having a better landlord. And he was like, sure, I'll rent you this one bay. It wasn't a lot of money, and we'll just do month to month and see if you can be successful. And he gave me the opportunity, kind of took a chance on me of like, this might not be a long-term client. 10 years later, so we opened in 2009. It's 2019. We just turned 10. And it's progressed over those 10 years, where initially we were really CrossFit focused, and now we are more, as I mentioned, a coaching facility where we like to lift weights, we like to use CrossFit as a tool, but that's not all that we do anymore. We do a lot of Olympic lifting as well. But the biggest thing is, if you come into my door, I'm going to have an honest conversation about, in my professional opinion, maybe we focus on 2 times a week of exercising, but you and I are really going to communicate a lot on nutrition. Or maybe it's vice versa. Your diet's squared away. You talk to me about your food and it's squared away. I'm like, that's amazing. You go through your exercise. I've been doing yoga, I've been doing running, but you haven't been lifting weights. Well, maybe we should focus a little bit more on some strength training and getting some postural strength and lifting some weights and hamstring strength. So we really just try to focus on, where do you need the most help? And then we can kind of curtail that within the group classes too. But that's where I came from, an athletic background, Lenox High School, Springfield College, corporate fitness, and I've worked in every fitness realm as well. The corporate one was the longest standing one before I did this. I worked in the Globo gyms, your LA Fitnesses or your Planet Fitnesses. I worked in some high-end spas as well. And none of them, even in corporate fitness, I was just really limited to what they would let me do, because you have to match the culture of where you're at and what your expectations are. But when you open your own shop, well, now it's on you of developing that culture and developing that atmosphere, and that just was really appealing to me. And at the time, I was really young and had no idea what opening your own business meant work-wise. But whatever, we figured it out as we went, and it's an interesting transition going from just being a trainer, coach, fitness person to now being a business owner, full-time, that deal. We were like, now I have to figure out a whole different realm of things. But it was great, it's good, and we're still going along.
Yeah, that's awesome. So to your point about the diversity in the gym, one night I was there that, there was a class going on with maybe 7, 10 people, whatever it was, and everybody's doing things at their own pace. And over here were 2 guys where you have your weightlifting racks, and one of them was squatting 600 pounds. Yeah. So, folks, there's a diversity inside there. And like I said, if you've ever had a curiosity of, is it right for you, or you think you want to try it or see if you can get in better shape, just go down and take a look. You don't even have, you can contact Andrew and just, you don't even have to join the gym. Just go down, take a look, and talk to him and see if it's something. The atmosphere, like I said, is very collegial and family kind of oriented. And I know, it's just, I seen what you've done with my son-in-law, which is just a major miracle. But not to knock on him. But
that's awesome. He's awesome.
But you transformed him, and that was a guy that I never think could do some of those things. That,
sure.
Again, our limitations are our own, not what you can really do. But
yeah.
All right, so let me go backwards with Misfit. Go back to Misfit toys for a moment. I would encourage you to go down and just watch it, even if you. So Saturday, December 14th. What time does it start?
Well, the event kicks off at 9, and even if we're not really interested in fitness, we're bringing Bear's Barbecue down for the day. So the Bear's Barbecue food truck is coming up. So if you just want barbecue and you want to make a toy donation, I'll welcome that too. Yeah. Come in, buy some barbecue, make a toy donation, watch some people work out. If you've never seen it before, I can guarantee you'll be interested because you'll see some cool things happening.
Yeah. And there's a series of exercises. And what time does it end?
So I think the main, probably 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock would be the rough.
So from 9 to 5, and there's a bunch of different exercises going in, men and women. All these things are going on at the same time. What I saw there last year was just major crowd inside your facility.
Yes.
People cheering other people on and watching and so forth. And then outside was like a little food festival with the food truck there. People were warming up or whatever. And it was a pretty nice day out there. So I would encourage you, just if you think you have an interest in it, just go down and watch, and you can just talk to people that are there, because some of them have staff shirts on and things like that you can go down and talk to people about what it is and what they like about it. But 9 to 5, and toy donation, you can do a monetary donation. Who would someone make a check out to?
Right now, we would probably just take a check. You make it out to Romeo Athletics, and I would turn it around and when I make the total donation, I would just include it into that.
So you can do a check donation, toy donation, but...
or, you could donate direct. You could write Warrior Horse Operation on the check and I'll sign it, and sign it, and I'll bring it down to them and hand that to them too. So it doesn't have to be funneled through me either.
Right. Okay, perfect. So you can help out that way. And the Warrior Horse Project, like I said, I saw it was either in 60 Minutes or something else, and it is a fantastic program, and the veterans that are going through it it's life-changing for them.
I hope so. I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. What's the most fun you get out of doing this?
Honestly, I really enjoy seeing people change not just the, weight loss, but their mentality. Of all of a sudden, that's when you know it really clicked. When they're like, hey, I'm not going out and drinking beers that much anymore, and I'm going to bed earlier, and I'm able to do X, Y, and Z with my kids. It's really cool to see people's lives change. Yeah. And all of a sudden it resonates, where it clicks, and they're like, if I kept living that old lifestyle, sooner than later, I'm going to break down, and this isn't going to work anymore. And you don't have to be like me. You don't have to be in the gym every day of the week, but come into the gym a few times a week. Let's do some functional stuff and watch what you eat. But it's really cool to see that light bulb go off, where they're like, I need to do this. I need to make a change. And it's really cool when all of a sudden you know that someone trusts you as a coach. Yep. And they're like, hey, you're my resource. You're the person that I trust. What do you think of this? And then I try to be very open-minded, so you can come to me with whatever. People are like, I just saw this movie, Game Changers. What do you think? Should I be a vegan? Or I saw this. Should I do this? Should I do this? And I'm like, I'm going to give you a very broad scope of science of this is why this and this would work, or this is why this would work. And if you want to apply it, this is how you would apply it. And if you don't want to apply it, that's okay too. This is how you would apply that. I have no preconceived notions of what's the best or wrong diet or whatever. It's really, what are you really excited about? Let me tell you the pluses and the minuses, give you some education about it, and then I'll guide you along the way.
Okay, cool. All right, so folks, as we wrap up, December 14th, there's two things I'd like you to take away from this. One is, if you're thinking about changing your life, or before the New Year's resolutions come in and stuff, and you were thinking about joining a gym, go down to Romeo Athletics, and I'm not telling you to buy there, but just go talk to them and see what it is. There's a bunch of CrossFit gyms, but just go down and talk to them, see what it is, see if it's right for you, because I can tell you, you'll be as sore as heck for a long period of time, and then your body will adjust to things and you'll thoroughly enjoy it, as opposed to,
Absolutely.
you know, looking at it like you're going to be tortured today. So.
I mean, you always joke around, it never gets easier, you just get better.
Right. But the big thing is December 14th, if you're around and you want to go check out the gym, get some good food while you're there, and donate a toy or two to Misfit Toys. December 14th, Romeo Athletics. It's the small front, but around the back, it's a huge building that you can go see. It's at 7 Moody Road
You got it.
in Enfield. Easy to get to, so from Long Meadow. So if you want to go check it out, please do, because I think it would be a day that'd be kind of fun and you enjoy it and see positive people all around you.
Absolutely. We'd welcome anybody.
Rome, thanks for coming on. I
Absolutely.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having me.
Folks, well, thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of The Upside. Have a great day. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Paul. That was great.